today's episode, I want to talk about shower faucets, tub and shower faucets, or just shower faucets. A little while ago, my wife and I were building a new house, and we were going to take a look at faucets. And I have to say, it had been a while since I went into a supplier to look for a new bathtub faucet or shower faucet, and I was amazed at all of the different faucets that are out there. So I just want to break them down, talk about the different options that are out there, and see if we can answer some of the questions you may have. I know I had a lot of them. So Curtis here, been doing plumbing for, what was it again, 12, 15, maybe longer years now?
Licensed for about that, yeah.
Yeah, licensed for that, and then 5 years before that doing the apprenticeship. So Curtis specializes more in the product knowledge space, and so I've asked him to join us, and he's going to walk us through the different type of answer the questions that I'll come up with, and see if we can help you out in choosing your next shower or tub faucet. Okay, so thank you for joining me, Curtis. First thing I'd like to talk about is what's a single handle faucet? What does that mean when it comes to tub and shower faucet? How does it function?
Well, essentially the single handle refers to your temperature control, your on and off as well, being all within that one handle, as opposed to a more traditional faucet that you may have two or maybe even three handles associated with the control of the temperature and the pressure. So it's essentially just referring to how many handles would be involved in the faucet itself.
Okay, all right. And what are the benefits of using a single handle faucet?
Well, a single handle faucet, as opposed to a two handle faucet, for example, has the ability to have a pressure balancer in there. So not only does it make it very simple to use with regards to the functionality of the faucet, it's a bit more safe because it has the ability to have an anti-scald valve inside of there. So if somebody accidentally hits it to the all the way hot position, it doesn't end up burning them.
Or flush a toilet?
Or flush a toilet. That was the traditional issue with those two handle faucets.
All right. And I saw a lot of slide bars, like a lot of multi-use, different shower heads, stuff like that. What do you think of that? What do you think about the slide bars?
So it depends on what you want functionality-wise out of the shower. If there's a lot of different people who have different heights that are using the shower, it's a nice feature to be able to kind of have your shower head just like this one right here on a slide bar that can be mounted from different positions. You can also get fairly elaborate shower valves that have more than one handle, more than one shower head, and more than one outlet kind of thing, which generally get complemented by a slide bar that's in there as well.
Okay. And how do like you were talking about different shower heads and stuff like that, so they would have a diverter and then you'd be able to switch from one to the next, like, yep. What are the benefits of stuff like that? Well, why would somebody do that? Why would they want that? So
in a lot of cases, when you have the multi shower head systems out there, you have what's also called a thermostatic shower valve. Thermostatic gives you the ability to kind of set the temperature you want and have a separate control for the on and off. So if this same person is using that shower every single day, then you do have the ability to kind of set your preferred temperature and then leave it, so you don't have to adjust as you go. Another benefit being is it's a bit more of a luxurious area. You have the water that can come from overhead. You have the slide bar with a handheld that you can be brought in from anywhere else. So it kind of gives you a little bit more functionality inside the shower. Yeah, I know for me and Tina,
she likes the telephone shower and I like the regular shower head. So having the ability to switch it back and forth is kind of a nice feature, right? If more than one person is using that shower or bathtub, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would recommend if someone was like they would want to put, like, the other things are like full out body massage showers and faucets and stuff like that? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I would say it's not a terrible idea if somebody is interested in going that route to put that in for like a new build or a custom build or something like that. Reason why I say that is because a lot of the times there's so much water demand that's required for those body jets that the existing setup of somebody's already existing shower may not have adequate sized water lines to deliver that volume of water. So it's something that if somebody's going to do that, I generally recommend doing that at the beginning of that bathroom's life, right at the beginning of that house's life kind of thing, so you could put the adequate sizes of piping in place. Otherwise, you may run into an issue with pressure drop, meaning if you have the two shower heads working, you kick on some body jets, everything might just come down to a very low pressure out of the outlets.
So if it's an existing home and they're renovating it, they can still do it though, right?
They can still do it with the, you know what I mean, the knowledge that it may not function as intended.
But if they increase the size of the water lines, would that help?
Yeah.
Would that get them to where they need to be for the use of that particular shower and the experience of using those type of showers?
Absolutely. It may involve quite a bit more work than just working in that one shower area, meaning you may have to trace from where the water meter is in the basement all the way up, or the pump room in the basement all the way up to where that bathroom is, which in some cases could be a short route, it could be a bit longer. And you're also a bit bound by what size water line is coming into your house. For example, a lot of the 60s and 70s homes only have a 1/2 inch water line coming into the house, so upgrading that to a 3/4 or 1 inch line is not going to necessarily provide you any more water.
Okay. And if a customer wanted to purchase their own faucet, what would you recommend to them? What would they look for?
So the biggest thing I look for when I'm talking to a customer about a faucet brand, especially when we're dealing with a shower or tub faucet, is something with a very good warranty and something with a good reputation that's been around for a long time. Unlike a basin faucet or a kitchen faucet, where all you need to do is get underneath the sink and untighten a couple screws or nuts, and then the whole thing comes off. A shower faucet generally requires drywall to be opened up, depending on the location, possibly even a tile to be opened up within the shower in order to get access to it. So it's not something you want to be changing on a whim, and not something you want to be changing regularly. So I generally recommend get something that is a lifetime warranty, you know what I mean, something that's been around for a long time, so that you can change parts out without the fear of that company not being around in 5-10 years.
And when faucet manufacturers say lifetime warranty, is that like a limited type of warranty? Is there conditions to those warranties?
Yeah, so almost every warranty from any faucet manufacturer will have limitations. In some cases, in most manufacturers' cases, a lifetime does refer to 25 years of that fixture. They don't anticipate the fixture living longer than 25 years, so it's kind of a terminology they use that is a bit misleading. I know that there are some companies like Moen, for example, that will go past 25 years on that. But for the most part, they expect bathroom fixtures to live in that 25-year range.
All right. So Curtis, are there any issues with compatibility concerns, or when you're installing a customer's faucet? Is there any concerns with that?
So the biggest concerns would be, for example, in some cases, going from a 3-hole faucet to a 1-hole faucet, or 1-handle faucet rather. You do get the issue of you have holes in the walls that do need to be covered, so there's certain considerations that do need to be made depending on what kind of upgrade you're changing over for. If you're changing it out for the same style, for example, a single handle faucet for another single handle faucet, for the most part those are pretty interchangeable. But when you go to a multi shower head system, or if you go from that 3-handle or 2-handle to a single handle, you may need renovation plates. You may need certain considerations or work done to the wet space.
So renovation plate is something that's available to basically take a faucet that's a 3-handled faucet and basically convert it to a single-handled faucet without necessarily opening the complete wall, right?
Yeah, so it allows you to open up a small section enough to gain access to the faucet, but then to cover it up with that big kind of chrome or brushed, whatever finish you want, plate. To keep everything waterproof. So it's an option to prevent you from needing to open up the entire wet space wall to change the faucet out and then having to redo it for you know what I mean. It's a bit of a get out of jail free card, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there one faucet that's easier to maintain, easier to service, stuff like that, than another?
The single handle, single function faucets would be the easiest. They have the least amount of parts going on, you know what I mean, for movement, least amount of washers that could wear out, sort of thing. Once you start getting into diverters and you start getting into double, you know what I mean, different styles of handles and jet systems and stuff like that, you're essentially having more components that have the ability to wear out. Not to say that they would necessarily wear out very quickly, but the more moving parts, the more parts that could fail.
What do you feel the most popular faucet is in the Ottawa area? What are customers typically choosing?
Customers are typically choosing, for the most part, a single handle faucet. I find sometimes adding on a telephone shower that kind of connects via magnet to the original location of a standard shower head. That tends to be the most common one I see out there. For the most part, people tend to stick with chrome. I'd say matte black being the secondary finish, matte black and brushed nickel. But for the most part, people tend to gravitate towards those simple single handle faucets.
Okay. And how does the type of faucet, whether it's a single lever, two handle lever, how does that affect the pressure and the volume of the water?
So for the most part, it doesn't necessarily affect the pressure too much or any of that. The shower head will dictate, and the outlets of the showering area will kind of dictate the flow that comes out of it. For example, you can get a shower head somewhat like this one, where you have many outlets. It's going to produce a lot of volume, and it's going to have lower pressure because of that. Or you can go something like this, where it has fewer outlets, so that pressure is going to be going through there a bit more. For the most part, it is just volume going through that faucet, and your shower head will dictate how much pressure versus volume you'll get.
And for plumbing code and stuff like that, are two and three handle faucets something that are approved?
Not anymore. So when it comes, they do still sell them, and they do still work. The issue being is that new code does require a pressure balancing valve to be installed, which is something, an anti-scald valve is another term for it, something that if, for example, you flush your toilet, it doesn't just kick off all the cold water to your faucet. So that is a device that is required and is really only able to be installed for a single handle application. The double handle, where you have the hot and the cold separate, there's really no means of mixing that water together through one of those pressure balancing valves.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Curtis. I appreciate your time here and answering all my questions. And hopefully this was something that that you all felt was helpful. And if you have any other questions, please give us a call or visit us at mrreuter.ca/Ottawa. And don't forget to share and like this video. And until the next one, take care.